The moon hung low over Blackfang Valley, a swollen silver orb that cast everything in a ghostly glow. Silence draped the ancient amphitheater like a heavy cloak, broken only by the faint rustle of fur and the whisper of wind through the pines. Illyra's footsteps echoed against the cold marble as she stepped into the circle of the ceremony of choosing. Every eye was on her, wolves of every pack, elders carved from stone and tradition, and above all, him. Cale Nightborn, the Alpha King, sat on his obsidian throne, eyes like molten gold, unreadable yet piercing. The moment his gaze landed on her, a shiver ran through her spine. Something primal, ancient, undeniable stirred in the air between them. A scent, a pull, a claim neither had spoken yet both understood. Whispers swept the amphitheater. Who is she? How dare she stand unmarked then, as the first challenger stepped toward her, his growl rolled through the night. A low, commanding sound that silenced the entire gathering. Every wolf froze, every heart skipped. She is mine. The words tore through tradition, through fear, through the very laws of the packs, and in that instant Illyra's world shattered, and a dangerous, intoxicating destiny pulled her toward the Alpha King, whether she wanted it or not. The ceremony of silence, the full moon hung low over Blackfang Valley, swollen and white like an unblinking eye. Its light spilled across the ancient stone amphitheater where the packs gathered only once a year, when fates were decided and bonds were claimed. Tonight was the ceremony of choosing. No one spoke as Illyra stepped onto the cold marble floor. Every footstep echoed too loudly in the silence, as if the valley itself was holding its breath. She kept her chin lifted. Even though her heart thundered so hard, she was sure the elders could hear it. Her silver, gray cloak brushed her ankles, hiding the thin scars on her wrist, reminders of a life spent surviving rather than belonging. She was unclaimed at 21, that alone made her a spectacle. Whispers rippled through the crowd anyway. She has no pack mark. Why is she even here? Poor girl, or dangerous? Illyra ignored them all. She had learned long ago that silence was safer than answers. At the highest tier of the amphitheater, the Alpha King sat on the obsidian throne. Cale Nightborn, the name alone carried weight, like a growl felt in the chest rather than heard. He was the ruler of all northern packs, undefeated in war, unchallenged in dominance. His presence bent the air, made wolves bow their heads without realizing they had done it. Cale's gaze had been on the ceremony, until Illyra entered, then it snapped to her like a blade drawn from its sheath. His wolf stirred violently beneath his skin. He didn't know her name, didn't know her story, but he knew one thing with terrifying certainty. The moment her scent reached him, something ancient and possessive had awakened. Frosted pine, moonlight, blood and defiance, a mate's scent, impossible. Cale's fingers curled slowly around the arm of the throne. Alpha Kings did not find mates among the unclaimed. Alpha Kings did not lose control in front of the packs. Yet his wolf was already on its feet, pacing, snarling. Below, Elder Morvain raised his staff, striking it once against the stone. The ceremony begins. The elder announced, those who wish to claim, step forward. One by one, young alphas and betas moved into the circle. Muscles tense, eyes sharp. Each of them glanced at Illyra, not with desire, but calculation. An unclaimed female without a pack was useful. Illyra felt it, the way they looked at her like she was something to be taken. Her hands trembled. Just endure, she told herself, survive this night. A tall alpha from the Ashclaw pack stepped toward her. His smile was practiced polite, and cold. Illyra of no pack, he said loudly, ensuring everyone heard. I offer protection and bond. Will you? The words never finished. The air exploded with pressure. A sound tore through the amphitheater, low, thunderous, primal. A growl not from the circle, from the throne. Every wolf froze. Every elder stiffened. Cale Nightborn rose. The Alpha King descended the stone steps slowly, deliberately, each footfall a warning. His eyes never left Illyra. She felt them on her skin like fire and ice at once. The Ashclaw Alpha backed away instinctively, swallowing hard. Cale stepped into the circle. Silence fell so complete it was terrifying. Then, in a voice that carried absolute authority, he said the words that would shatter tradition, law, and fate itself. She is mine. No shout. No explanation. Just truth. The world tilted. Illyra's breath hitched. Her eyes flew to his face, this stranger king who looked at her not like prey, not like property, but like something claimed by destiny itself. Gasps erupted around them. Elders shouted protests. Alphas snarled in outrage, but Kale didn't look at any of them. He only reached out and placed his cloak around Alira's shoulders. His voice dropped, meant only for her. "Do not be afraid," he said softly. "No one will ever touch you again without my permission." Her knees nearly buckled, the moon flared brighter overhead, and in that moment, as every pack watched in stunned silence, Alira realized one terrifying truth: her life before this night was over. And whatever future awaited her belonged to the Alpha King. The challenge of the elders, the amphitheater, buzzed like a storm about to break. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath as the elders, faces carved with age and authority, stepped forward. Their robes swished against the stone as they formed a circle around Kale and Alira. "Alpha Nightborn," Elder Morvaine's voice boomed, echoing against the valley walls. "You cannot simply claim an unmarked female in the midst of a public ceremony. Tradition demands a challenge, proof that your bond is true and rightful." Kale's eyes glinted, the amber gold of his wolf shining in the moonlight. He didn't flinch. The whispers of the crowd, the murmurs of disapproval, none of it mattered. He had not come this far to back down. "She is mine," he repeated, louder this time, his voice carrying the weight of mountains and storms. "Not by whim, not by desire, but because fate chose her as it chose me." The elders exchanged uneasy glances. None of them dared look directly at him, for even they could sense the raw power radiating from the Alpha King. But tradition was tradition, and Elder Morvaine raised his staff. "Then prove it, Alpha King," he said. "A bond cannot be declared by words alone. Show us in the trial of scent. If your claim is false, the consequences will be severe. For both of you." Alira's heart pounded. The trial of scent was a dangerous ritual, rarely attempted outside of bloodlines. Wolves had died in it, claimed by their own wolves when they could not withstand the surge of primal connection. And yet, Kale's gaze met hers. There was no fear in it, only certainty, and a strange kind of invitation. "You will not falter," he whispered, leaning close enough for her to feel the heat of his body. "Trust me." Before she could answer, Kale extended his hand. Hesitantly, she placed hers in his. The moment their skin touched, a shiver of energy raced through her. The world around them blurred. The shouts, the whispers, the gasps, all faded into a distant hum. The trial of scent began. Kale lowered his head, his wolf scent flooding the circle. Deep, musky, commanding. It wrapped around Alira, slipping beneath her skin, touching her soul. For a moment, panic threatened to overwhelm her, but then she realized something terrifying. She recognized it. It was as if her body had been waiting for this scent all her life. Memories that were not hers flickered in her mind. Hints of forests, of moonlit runs, of protection and dominance. Her pulse synced with his, her wolf stirring awake for the first time. The crowd around them gasped. A ripple of fear and awe swept through the audience. Some of the younger wolves whispered, "No one has ever done this before." Elder Morvaine raised his staff higher. "Stop this. She must consent. The trial cannot proceed without her full will." Alira drew in a shaky breath, looking up at Kale. His golden eyes softened, urging her silently. For the first time in her life, someone understood the fire and fear inside her. She nodded, and the trial deepened. Their senses entwined. Kale's scent burned into her mind, but instead of pain, there was clarity. Power, warmth. She felt herself reaching, almost instinctively, toward him. Her own wolf, hidden all her life, stirred, responding. The world narrowed to the two of them, bound in something older than time. A howl split the air, not from Kale, not from her, but from the wolf within the amphitheater, one of the elders' guardians. Yet even it hesitated, sensing the strength of the connection. Minutes passed, though it felt like an eternity. Then, slowly, Kale lowered his head again, letting the trial end on his terms. He straightened, eyes locked on hers. "I claim you," he said, voice steady, yet intimate. "And nothing in this world will take you from me." Alira felt tears sting her eyes, not from fear, but from the overwhelming surge of emotion, trust, and something primal she could not yet name. The elders were silent, caught between awe and rage. Tradition had been shattered, but none dared challenge the Alpha King's power. Around the amphitheater, wolves bowed their heads instinctively, feeling the undeniable shift in the hierarchy. Kale placed a protective arm around Alira's shoulders, pulling her close. The world was still chaotic, still uncertain, But for the first time, she felt claimed, safe, and terrifyingly alive, and in the shadows of the amphitheater, eyes glimmer. Wolves who would challenge their bond, rivals who would stop at nothing. The declaration of possession was not the end, it was only the beginning. The Alpha's inner circle, the amphitheater, emptied slowly, leaving only the echoes of whispered awe and murmured fear. Alara followed Kale through the winding corridors beneath the stone, each step sending a thrill of both fear and anticipation down her spine. The scent of his wolf was stronger here, in the private halls of the Alpha King, filling the air like a heady storm. "This place," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "It feels alive." Kale's lips quirked in a rare, brief smile. "It is," he said, "every stone, every torch, every shadow. This palace was built by wolves for wolves, and for those worthy of walking beside the king." Her heart skipped. "Beside you." He didn't answer with words. His gaze alone made the walls shrink, the corridors tighten, and her pulse quicken. Something dangerous and protective and utterly intoxicating simmered in his presence. They reached a large chamber, circular and dimly lit by hanging lanterns that flickered like captured stars. Around the room stood 4 figures, each imposing, each radiating a lethal strength. Kale's inner circle, the wolves who had served him for decades, loyal beyond reason, fierce beyond belief. "This is your Alpha King's pack," Kale said, sweeping his hand toward them, "and these are the few I trust with my life, and now yours." The first, a tall man with a scar running down his left cheek, stepped forward. "I am Roran," he said, voice deep, rumbling. "I fight for the Alpha. I obey him without question." He studied Alara for a long moment, his amber eyes piercing, then nodded once. "You are," claimed the second, a woman with midnight, black hair and eyes like polished obsidian, bowed slightly. "Lyra," she said, "I guard the Alpha's secrets, and will ensure that no harm comes to his mate." Her gaze lingered on Alara, assessing, calculating, but not unfriendly. The third, younger but equally formidable, stepped closer. "Dax," he introduced himself, arms crossed. "I watch over the territory and ensure no rival challenges the Alpha without consequence." He smirked slightly at Alara. "Looks like I'll be keeping an eye on you too." The last was quiet at first, leaning against the wall, shadows clinging to him like a cloak. When he finally spoke, his voice was low, smooth, almost dangerous. "And I am Kale's shadow. My name is Varen. I see what others do not. I sense threats before they touch us." Alira's pulse raced. She had never imagined such a world of power, danger, and dominance, but one where she was not just a pawn. She was a part of it, part of him. Kale stepped forward, closing the distance between her and his pack. "You will learn," he said, voice soft but commanding, "that this pack protects its own, and now, you are part of it. That means learning to survive, to fight, to trust, and to accept what it means to be mine." Alara swallowed, feeling the weight of the claim again. His words were like chains, but chains that promised safety, strength, and something else, desire, something fierce and forbidden. Her wolf stirred within, restless and curious. She could feel Kale's wolf, dominant and commanding, brushing against hers, teasing, calling, demanding recognition. "Your world," Kale said, his hand brushing hers for just a fraction of a second, sending sparks of heat through her veins, "is about to change, and I will be at your side through every danger, every secret, every forbidden moment." The air between them crackled. Alara realized with a shiver that ran deeper than fear that nothing, no ritual, no tradition, no challenge, had prepared her for the magnetism of the Alpha King. Outside, the night deepened. The moon poured its silver light across the palace walls, touching them like a promise of what was to come. And in the distance, somewhere beyond the valley, wolves stirred. Rivals, hunters, and enemies who would not forgive the audacity of Kale claiming an unmarked female in front of the entire realm. Alara looked at him, eyes wide, heart pounding. I don't know if I'm ready," she admitted, voice trembling. Kale's hand cupped her cheek, thumb brushing her skin gently. "None of us are ever ready for fate," he said, voice low, almost a growl. "But sometimes, it doesn't matter, you're mine, and that means we face it together." Her breath hitched, the words, the touch, the promise. It was intoxicating, dangerous, everything she had feared, and yet everything she had secretly craved. And as the night wrapped around them like a velvet shroud, Alara understood one chilling truth. Surviving the ceremony was only the beginning. The real challenge was surviving the Alpha King's world and the desire that already bound them both. The first test dawn had not yet touched the valley when Kale led Alara to the training grounds, a sprawling expanse of stone and earth, bathed in the silver, gray light of the lingering moon. Mist curled around the edges, and the scent of wet pine and wild grass filled the air. "This," Kale said, his amber eyes scanning the grounds, "is where you begin to understand what it means to be part of my pack." Alara's stomach nodded. She had survived the ceremony, the trial of scent, and the introduction to Kale's inner circle. But this felt different, dangerous. Roran stepped forward, muscles taut like coiled steel. "Your first test isn't about fighting the wolves. It's about endurance, instinct, and control. You will run with the pack, and if you falter, you risk more than embarrassment." Alara swallowed hard, her pulse spiking. Her wolf, previously dormant and wary, stirred restlessly beneath her skin. She could feel Kale's wolf brushing against hers, teasing her senses, pulling her forward. "You can do this," Kale murmured, his voice low, vibrating with an energy she could feel through every nerve. "I'll be watching." Her first sprint with the pack was a revelation, and a terror. The other wolves ran with a grace and speed she had never imagined. Their forms blurred past her, fur glinting in the moonlight, eyes glinting with challenge. Alara struggled to keep up, lungs burning, legs aching, but she pushed forward. Kale fell in beside her, matching her pace effortlessly. "Breathe," he said, his words brushing her ear, warm and intoxicating. "Let your wolf guide you, fight your fear." The closeness of him, his hand brushing hers when they adjusted stride, sent shivers down her spine. Her heart hammered, not just from exertion, but from something deeper, a raw pull between them that made every step electric. A sudden obstacle appeared, a fallen tree, wide and slick from the mist. Without thinking, Alara leapt and stumbled. Her wolf roared in panic. Kale was there instantly, catching her arm, steadying her, his eyes, golden intense, locked on hers. "Focus, trust yourself, and me." She nodded, inhaling sharply. The next jump was clean. Landing, she felt her wolf surge in approval. Kale's wolf mirrored hers, protective and proud, brushing against her mind with warmth and dominance. By the time the pack halted at the far edge of the grounds, sweat dripping from her brow, lungs gasping for air, Alara realized she had survived. And more, she had thrived. Her wolf pulsed with new strength, awakened by the challenge, by Kale's presence, by the adrenaline of proving herself. Kale's hand lingered near hers, brushing her fingers almost deliberately. "You're stronger than I expected," he said softly, almost a growl beneath the words. "And your wolf, she's fierce, exactly what I need." Alara's cheeks flushed, not just from exertion, but from the weight of his gaze, the heat of his proximity, the dangerous thrill of being claimed before she could catch her breath. Lyra stepped forward, eyes sharp. "There are rivals," she said, "wolves who will try to challenge your claim. Kale's world isn't just tests and training. It's politics, power, and danger. If you falter, it will not just be your pride on the line." Alara's wolf bristled at the warning. She looked at Kale, who simply nodded, his hand brushing hers again, reassuring and possessive. "I will protect you," he said, "always, but you must also learn to protect yourself. This pack, this world, it does not forgive weakness." Her breath caught. The reality of her new life, claimed by the Alpha King, surrounded by power, danger, and desire, pressed down on her like the weight of the full moon. She knew one thing clearly: she had no choice now. She was part of this world, part of him, and she would have to fight, not just to survive, but to belong. As the sun rose over the valley, burning away the mist but leaving the scent of wolves and wild earth, Alara realized that the real challenges had only just begun. Kale's eyes met hers across the clearing, a silent promise burning in their depths. "Stay close," he said, voice low, commanding, "and never forget, you are mine." Her pulse thundered, not just with fear, but with a strange, thrilling excitement. She didn't know if she was ready for this life, but she was ready for him. Shadows of rival packs. The valley had barely settled into the golden light of morning when word arrived. Rival packs were stirring. Messengers, their paws silent on the frost, covered ground, had brought news of discontent. Some questioned Kale's audacious claim of an unmarked female. Others saw it as weakness, a crack in the Alpha King's armor. Alara listened as Lyra recounted the rumors, her voice low and tense. "The Bloodfangs are preparing to challenge your claim. she said, eyes flicking toward Alara. "And the Ironclaw Pack. They see this as an opportunity to take territory. You must understand. The ceremony was just the beginning. Politics, alliances, and rivalries are far more dangerous than the trial of scent." Alara's wolf growled beneath her skin, restlessness and unease coiling in her chest. Kale's hand brushed hers, grounding her. "We face them together," he said. His voice was a low rumble that vibrated through her bones. "No rival, no threat, no wolf will take what is mine." The first confrontation came unexpectedly under the shadow of a gnarled forest. The Bloodfang warriors, their eyes glinting with malice, had gathered at the edge of Kale's territory. They were strong, aggressive, and certain of victory. Kale's wolf flared, muscles tensing beneath his skin as he stepped forward. Alara's wolf mirrored his, sensing the danger and the thrill of the challenge. "Stay behind me," Kale commanded, his voice a growl that carried authority. But Alara shook her head, stepping forward instinctively. "I'm not hiding," she said. Her voice trembled slightly, but her wolf's strength surged beneath it. "If this is my life now, then I will stand with you." Kale's amber eyes softened for a fraction of a second, pride flashing across his face before the storm returned. "Very well," he said, "but you must follow my lead." The Bloodfang warriors lunged first. Kale moved like lightning, swift and precise, every strike calculated. Roran and Dax flanked him, cutting off any escape, protecting Alara as if she were the most precious prize in the world. Alara's wolf responded instinctively. She leapt, dodged, and snarled, letting her instincts guide her. She had never felt such a surge of power, such a wild, intoxicating connection with the battle. And with Kale, in the midst of the chaos, Kale's eyes found hers. A silent command, a silent promise: "You are mine. Survive this with me." By the time the sun dipped low, turning the sky into streaks of blood and gold, the rival packs had been driven back, wounded and weary. The victory was decisive, but it left scars both physical and emotional. Kale turned to Alara, brushing a strand of damp hair from her face. "You were magnificent," he said, his voice softer now, almost intimate. "But you must understand, this is only the beginning. Rivals, enemies, even allies. All will test us, and all will see that claiming you was not just bold. It was dangerous." Alara's heart raced, a mix of fear and exhilaration. She had fought beside the Alpha King, faced death and survived, and yet beneath it all a thrilling, dangerous desire burned between them. As night fell, Kale pulled her close under the full moon, his golden eyes locking with hers. "You are mine," he murmured, growl threading through the words, "and no darkness, no enemy, will take you from me." Her wolf pressed against his, matching the intensity of his. Her heart pounded, not just from battle, but from the raw, undeniable connection that tied them together, stronger than fear, stronger than rivalry, stronger than destiny itself. The moonlight washed over them, silver and sacred. And in that moment, Alara realized, being claimed by the Alpha King was not just a test of survival. It was a descent into passion, power, and a bond that neither time nor danger could sever.